Yes, 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 yes. Welcome live, everybody. Welcome on, welcome all worldwide on your radio right now. WLVS, locked inside of Tasty Tuesdays, broadcasting live from DC's number one, that is Listen Vision. I'm your host, your DJ for the evening, your man B-Dub, the boy Wonder. We definitely appreciate y'all. Big shout out to all my Geminis tuned in. Listen, it's 5 o'clock, man, so we just gonna get to it as promised. We got a cooking show for y'all. Courtesy of my family, Princess P and Miss Dankness. Hey, Jacob, whenever you ready, I'm gonna just turn the cameras over to them. Microphones on, y'all ready? Princess P, how are you today?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, I'm good. If you can just talk into the microphone so everybody can hear you worldwide there. Without further ado, I'm gonna let you ladies take it away and do y'all thing, all right?
Hey. Hey, guys. So we're gonna show you a drink, a main course, and a dessert. Renee came up with a Hawaiian theme, so everything kind of has pineapple in it, basically, some sort of Hawaiian theme. So I'm gonna start with the drink while she's getting the main course prepped and ready to go. Do you want to say anything first?
Oh yeah, so there's been a lot of questions about dosing and things like that, and we really wanted you guys to understand that it's not as hard as people make it seem.
Not at all.
The biggest thing is knowing what your starting material is, which most of you get from a dispensary. So basically, you want to tell them about how that dosing works?
Yeah, so I'm not gonna go into like the whole like every detail of the equation or whatever, but as far as like if you have a starting product that's like 100 milligrams, for example, and you make 4 things with it, then each thing is 25 milligrams. So it's a matter of knowing what the starting product is and then dividing it by the number of servings that you're making.
So if I were a patient
Right.
and I go to the dispensary and I
Right.
get a product that is, say, 25% THC, what does that mean for me when I get home and I want to turn that product into medicine?
25% is 250 a gram, right?
250.
Yeah, 250 milligrams a gram. So for each gram that you process, that's 250 milligrams. So then you just use that in whichever way you choose to extract it, which can be with oil, like coconut oil, which is what I have for the dessert part. Butter, which is what a lot of people have heard of and make, or with tincture. That's another really common way to extract easily, like something somebody can do from home.
Some really great alternatives also will be glycerin
Yeah.
and olive oil. They both make really great mediums for you to imbibe your medicine in.
Yeah, I've heard that olive oil is one of the better ones as far as
is.
pulling it out, but I just have noticed with baking, it just doesn't do the same thing that like, whereas coconut oil and butter, you can intertwine with each other with no issues with texture. It just isn't the same with olive oil. But for savories and stuff, olive oil is definitely like a good option that's not butter. So for infusing drinks, I've always used tincture. I've occasionally used infused sugar, which is just made with tincture. So, but this one I'm gonna do with tincture. So this is a mango pineapple coconut punch. So I'm just gonna start. I started with the like idea that not everybody is gonna have like bar equipment or a food processor or a mixer. So I kind of went under the guise that you don't have any of those things, and like this is how you would do it without those things. So I just have like a regular pitcher and a spoon, and I'm gonna pour some ice in. I have 150 milligrams of tincture that I'm gonna put in first. That's what's in the bottle. So normally when I make a drink for myself, I'll do it about 100 milligrams for the whole batch, but then I just won't drink it all. Like I'll sip it slowly or whatever. But I find that when most people are making stuff at home, they don't want those like huge doses in small amounts. Like the average user, especially medical patient, I think doesn't want, you know what I mean, huge amounts. So, while I might use 100 for like one drink, I'm gonna use 150 for the pitcher, so that way everybody can kind of get a sample while still able to drive home. So
Perfect. I think that's a great idea, Princess, because we definitely do not want people driving under the influence. One thing I really want to point out is that many people kind of underestimate the power of cannabis and the power of some of these infusions that we make. And to be honest, when you have a real artisan that takes their craft seriously, you're going to get some really powerful stuff, some really great stuff. And you have to make sure that you take your time and follow the guidelines. I don't care how much of a seasoned professional you are. Everyone gets caught slipping.
Absolutely.
Don't let it be you.
Absolutely. And edibles are hard, I find, in general, because they can take up to 2 hours to kick in, depending on, what you're using for it. Tincture doesn't ever usually take that long. But, oil or butter, it can take up to 2 hours to kick in. So all the time, people will message me and be like, so I started eating blah, 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 and then 30 minutes later, I didn't feel anything, so I ate more. Just don't do that.
Yeah.
You'll have a bad time. If you look up on YouTube the video of the cop calling 911 because he thought he was dead from eating pot brownies, that's kind of a good example of how you'll feel when you overdo it. So for starters for the drink, I've got a half of one of these, so it's about 8 ounces of coconut water. You can skip that if you're not a fan of coconut water. Some people are not. And then about 8 ounces of, this is the Odwalla Mango Tango juice, but you can use any kind of, you can even puree your own mango juice. But again, I was going under the precedent that most people don't have a blender or a juicer or any of that. So every grocery store has these. So it's about 8 ounces of that. And then I'm doing about 6 ounces of the Simply Orange with Mango. And then a full, how many ounces? 10 ounces of pineapple juice.
Ooh, that's sounding real sexy over there.
Right. So all very citrusy.
Sounds almost like you're making a danky Bahama Mama.
Right. Something like that.
I love it.
Doesn't a Bahama Mama have a cherry or something in it, though? We need a cherry, so we messed up there.
It's okay.
But that's
we
it.
like green anyway.
You stir that up, and then there you go. You've got 150 milligrams of an infused punch.
So that punch is looking pretty sexy, guys.
Can we be a guinea pig? Can we be a guinea pig?
I think we need to start doing some samples, guys. I think we need to start doing some samples.
So I've got like 4 cups here. But if you can locate a cup, you can have a sample. Other than 4 people. 4 people can have it.
I'll take dibs on one.
What? I'm just going to come around and pour this in a cup. You want to tell them maybe what you're starting on?
Yes. So can we get a camera on the pot over here? So hey guys, so now we're getting ready. Now that we have this wonderful, delicious drink that Princess P has made for us, we're getting ready to get started on our main dish. And just like Princess P, I'm thinking, you know what? We need to make this really simple, because at the end of the day, if you're just coming home from work, if you're in pain and you're all home alone, a lot of times you don't have a lot of time to stand up in the kitchen and cook. So we have a 1-pot dish that you can make, medicate, and you can actually freeze some and save it for later if you like. And it is vegan. So today we're going to be using Morningstar Farms pulled pork, vegan pork. Just want to make sure you understand. Yeah, gotta look out for the DJ. Get the DJ good. Okay, so here I have some can of oil. This oil is roughly about 1,500 milligrams per half cup. And so we have just a little bit in here already. About a teaspoon has gone into the pot to oil the pot. Right, look, I'm like, wait a minute, I got lost for a second. But to oil the pot to keep our stuff from sticking. So now we're gonna add our vegetables and stuff in, and we're gonna throw in a little bit more, guys. We have some wonderful peppers that are very in season and nice and fresh and ripe.
I love bell peppers.
Oh, yeah.
I only like them cooked, though. Is that weird? Does anybody else not like raw peppers? Like, I can't stand it, but I know people that'll just eat them like with dip. No, it's got to be cooked.
We got some delicious, nice, ripe pineapple. Very juicy. Very juicy. I'm going to put in about a cup of that. And we're going to start whipping this all together and get those flavors going.
This is one of those electric pressure cookers like the Instant Pot, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So we got it nice and easy for you. Even grandma can cook this home alone while she's watching her soap operas.
Like everybody has told me that I need to just like give up the crock pots and get an Instant Pot, but I just haven't like been able to justify it yet.
Well, so far, I had to spend about 15 minutes trying to decipher what the instructions were. But as you see, it does its own thing. Somewhere along the way, I magically pressed the button and we are winning now.
Okay. So and you've got a pulled pork in there, or like a vegan pulled pork?
Yeah, so we have a vegan pulled pork. And so now that we have our vegetables and our fruits and stuff in there, we're going to just toss in a little seasoning. Seasoning kind of girl. So we got some onion powder, some garlic powder, and a little bit of Lowry's chicken rub.
That's good stuff.
You know, kind of make us think
The
we're eating meat.
McCormick, what's it called? You know what I'm talking about? There's like a
McCormick has
McCormick
really
chicken
great
rub
spices,
that's
too.
really good. They put it next to their like steak seasoning, but it's for chicken. Anyway,
Right.
It's really good.
You know, actually, speaking of that McCormick seasoning, if you take the McCormick seasoning and the Montreal garlic and herb,
Okay.
and you get you some bouillon cubes,
Yep.
it makes string beans like your grandmama used to make back in the 70s, girl. I'm trying to tell you. You don't know nothing
I
about
love
them.
green
Make them
beans.
string beans, make you have to call your home and tell your mom about it. But now we got. Woo,
That smells so good.
everything coming together, girl. Girl. You see who about to be in here. Honey.
And you got rice over there with it for it,
Oh,
right?
yes, and we have some delicious jasmine rice that we'll be pairing with this dish in a few minutes.
All right, well, we'll be back in a second. Let's take a slight commercial break. We're going to let this cook up and simmer and everything. We're going to go back to a party for a second. We'll be right back. Can of Cooking with Princess P. Miss Dankness, let's go.
Metro, I don't trust you. I'm gonna shoot you.
you fucking with that? Ha, okay, cool. That's my fucking brother right there. You dig? Dexter. Oh, wait. Pick it up, bro. Baby girl, watch how you move. I got them rings on my shoes. I pop up, and I lose. Wait, speed it up. Look at the diamonds, they eat it up. Damn me 2 bitches, I'm eating up. They thinking I'm wife and deleting them. Oh, wait. Pints in, call up rocket. My brother play like a socket. Kicking this door, yeah, I got him. Open the safe, you can't lock it. Sipping that walk, yeah, I go to the top. Bustin' your bitch like a Glock. She like to suck on my clock. I get that money, don't stop. Like Dexter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you like this beat too, but you a fucking goofy though. Fucking lame ass. Oh wait, word around town. I heard this boy was a clown. Swimming your bitch, watch her drown. Call him up for the pound.
1, 2.
Our future, yeah, it's right on my clothes. Bad bitch, yeah, watch it do coke. Broken cell, used to sleep on the floor. I never do it no more. Telling you broke is no joke. I used to kick in that dope. Wait, now I'm selling out the shows. While I'm all rich, then you right on my clothes. Hold on, little mama, you tweaking. A bad bitch, Puerto Rican. Get her out, Molly, she geeking. Call me up free every shit for the weekend. Dexter. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. We only can chill for the weekend. And you gotta go.
Cannon cooking live right now.
Dexter.
Order be long. Color orange mango label. Rotary phone. In my old school Mercedes. Smoke OG grown. When I'm Californicating, I got 3 phones. Business, conversation, and relation. Hold up. Wait a sec, wait a minute, wait a tick. Shake on my wrist, nothing was fake on my wrist. 4-finger ring on my hand. Say what you say to my wrist. Talk to the hand, I want the results of the hands. What the face say to the fist.
Came through drippin', came through drippin', came through drippin'. Diamonds on my wrist, they drippin'. Ice. Came through drippin', came through drippin', came through drippin'. Diamonds on my wrist, they drippin'.
Came through drippin', came through drippin', came through drippin'. Diamonds on my wrist, they trippin'. Came through drippin', came through drippin', came through drippin'. Diamonds on my wrist, they trippin'.
Give me a little something to remember. Tryna make love in a sprinter. Quit you drop a nigga like Kimber. Looking like a right swipe on Tinder. Shit on these hoes. Let up my wrist on these hoes. Now I look down on these bitches. I feel like I'm on stilts on these hoes. Fuck your baby daddy right now. And the maid got cake by the pound. Go down, eat it up, don't drown. Making cheese in a bow, how it sound. I got that gushy, yeah that's a fact, but I never been pussy. I think that bitch is pajamas with footies. One MVP and I'm still a rookie like I gotta work on my anger. Might kill a bitch with my fingers. I gotta stay out of Gucci. I'm finna run out of hangers. Is she a stripper, a rapper, a singer? I'm busting blacks in a belly, my Sega. Right through your hood like bitch, I'm the mayor. You not my bitch, then bitch you a danger. Came through drippin', came through drippin', came through drippin'. Diamonds on my wrist, they drippin'.
Came through drippin', came through drippin', came through drippin'. Diamonds on my wrist, they trippin'. Bitch, you a thought ain't trickin'. Put her on the knee, make her lick it. Protect on my wrist and it glistening. Bitch got mad, I dissed her. Shawty, you ain't nothing to a rich nigga. I put a check on a bitch nigga. Fuck your whole set and your clique nigga. Got a gang full of dud, it's a broke niggas. Diamonds on me, what's the price? I'm not getting involved with the hype. I'm too rich to get into a fight. 50 racks got my chin fitting tight. Pay that price and them boys come and wipe you. We had to dispose of the diapers. Yeah, we trap every week, every night. Where my movie just went over and died.
The ones that look like socks. I like going to the jeweler. I put rocks all in my watch. I like texts from my exes when they want a second chance. I like proving niggas wrong. I do what they say I can't. They call me Cardi, banging body, spicy mommy, hot tamale, hotter than a Somali. Ferrari, hop up the stoop, jump in the coupe. Big dip on top of the roof, flexing on bitches as hard as I can. Eating halal, driving a lamb. So that bitch, I'm sorry though. Got my coins like Mario. Yeah, they call me Cardi B. I run this shit like cardio. I'm the district in the jam. Certified, you know I'm gang. Drop the top and blow the brand. Oh, he's so handsome, what's his name? I need the dollars to just beat it up like pinatas. Tell the job to close the curtains. Bad bitch make him nervous.
Chambean pero no jalan. Tú compras todas las Jolambo, a mí me las regalan. I spend in the club, what you have in the bank. This is the new religion bank, el Latino gang. Yeah, trato de hacer dieta, pero es que en el closet tengo mucha grasa. Ya mudé la Gucci pa' dentro de casa, yeah. Cabrón, a ti no te conocen ni en plaza. El diablo me llama, pero Jesucristo me abraza. Guerrero como Eddie, que viva la raza. Yeah. Me gustan boricua, me gustan cubana. Me gusta el acento de la colombiana. Como me ve el culo la dominicana. Lo rico que me chinga la venezolana. Andamos activos, perico, pim, pim. Billetes de 100 en el maletín. Que retumbe el bajo y Valentín, yeah. Aquí prohibido mal, dile charitín. Que per pico le tengo claritín. Yo llego a la disco y se forma el motín.
Celia, tú tengo el azúcar, tú que va medio. Twerk, girl, I wanna see you twerk. I throw a little money to twerk. I don't really think you can twerk. If you broke, go to make that big booty twerk. Make that big booty twerk. Can I touch that booty? That booty? That big old booty, shake that booty. Can I lay on the booty? Mike Tyson on the booty, copyright that booty. Bounce that booty on the floor. Shit, shake till you get a little soft. Shit, show me your mama made a hoe. Shit, shit, go ahead get a little low. Shit, shake that booty in the car. Shit, shake that booty in the stove. Shit, shit, pop it, stop it, drop it, pop it. If I hit a Lexus sky, I'm a motherfucking rocket. I ain't got no fucking heart. I can't be loyal to you, whore. You weren't here from the start. Twerk, girl, I wanna see you twerk. I throw a little money for twerk. I don't really think you can twerk. If you broke, go to make that big booty twerk. Make that big booty twerk. Can I touch that booty? That booty? That big old booty? Shake that booty. Can I lay on the booty? Mike Tyson on the booty. Copyright that booty. Skinny petite.
Oh, this strip club after. What's up?
Young Money.
Yeah. Me and Mike Will pull up the AOD back to back. Them AMG 63s. I tell all my rake it up, break it down, bag it up. Get up, get up, get up, get up, bag it up, bag it up, bag it up, bag it up, rake it up, rake it up, rake it up, rake it up, bag it up, bag it up, bag it up. I tell all my rake it up, break it down, bag it up, bag it up, bag it up, get 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 up, rake it up, rake it up, rake it up. I made love to a stripper. First I had to tip her 20,000 once. She said I'm that. I said I'm that. I already know it. I come with bad weather. They say I'm a storm. VVS is in my chum. That's a Rockefeller chain. I was sending bricks to Harlem back when Jay was still with Dame. I'm in for leave child. I got a protect on. Okay. Got a stripper with me. She picked up the check home. She gon' get up, get up, get up. She don't need makeup, makeup. She gon' rake it up, rake it up, rake it up. Pay up, pay up. She said pay for the, pay for the, pay. Wait for the, wait for the, wait. Ask God to forgive me. Cause I pray for the, pray for the. I tell all my rake it up, break it down, bag it up. Get up, get up, get up, get up. Bag it up, bag it up, bag it up, bag it up, bag it up.
Nico on the beat, boy.
Oh, hi.
Hey guys, we're back.
So Miss Dankness' food is still going, so I'm gonna show you how to prep the dessert that I have already made for you guys. So this is a pineapple cheesecake bite with a coconut shortbread crust, and these are all gluten-free. I think everything you made was gluten-free too. So yeah, so everything that I make is always gluten-free generally, unless it's a special order because I have celiac disease, so I have like a gluten-free kitchen. But it's not me trying to like push health views on other people. It's just not super safe for me to have it in my house.
I was about to say, but you know, realistically, I didn't intend to be like a super healthy person. Honestly, I think it's the weed, man. I think the weed does something good for you. Like, you so don't want sugar and stuff anymore. Not like you used to. Like, people think like, oh, you get the munchies. It's like, well, you do get the munchies, but your munchies kind of change. You start wanting whole meals and stuff.
I think it's because you wake up so many mornings with regret from eating so much bad food that you finally are like, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this and not live with this regret anymore. So we're gonna go ahead and eat this big bowl of fruit or whatever. I do that a lot. So these are gluten-free shortbread cookies, but you can use vanilla wafers, animal crackers, graham crackers. I mean, honestly, you can use pretty much any kind of like basic cookie that you want to. And again, I did this assuming that nobody had any equipment to do anything with. So I've got, it's probably about a cup of these cookies in a bag, and I'm just gonna break them up. So I'm infusing these with coconut oil. So you did the dinner with olive oil?
No, actually, that's coconut oil as well.
Coconut oil as well, okay. And then we've got the tincture for the drink. So a little bit of a couple different things. Maybe next time we'll have to show different types of oils and how they come out different. How's it looking over there?
Looking real sexy.
So I'm trying to get this ground down like as finely as I can, again, without any equipment. If you have a food processor or even like a blender, throw it in there and pulse it for a few seconds and it's done. But, you know, I was like late 20s before I started ever getting like any kind of like real kitchen equipment. What about you? Like,
you know, actually, I had my daughter at 19, and that's when I kind of got in the kitchen and started my Betty Crocker thing. So, like,
right.
I used to get, like, kitchen appliances and stuff for, like, Christmas gifts and stuff until one day my dad was like, you know what? Holidays are supposed to be for you. It's not fair that on the holiday you're getting a gift to do things for others. So after that, my dad just started kind of giving them to me randomly.
Awesome. Yeah, so my early 20s is really what I started cooking a lot. Before that, I pretty much had just cooked with like my grandma. She taught me how to cook. And she passed away when I was in high school. So then in college, it was like I took stuff that she had told me and then just being broke and not having any money and having to learn how to make for myself. And the Food Network. I used to watch Food Network all the time. Like it would just be on my TV all day long. So then I started going to like thrift stores and stuff and getting like a rice cooker or whatever. But it took me a while to build up like a decent collection. So even something like a food processor, there are a good number of people that just maybe don't have room for it, you know, or whatever. So after you've got the cookies all crushed up, you're gonna put those into a bowl. This is it's already like, it congealed a little bit while it was waiting, but this is 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, infused coconut oil. And basically it should be, this is room temperature, so I'm gonna have to mix it around for a little bit longer, but melted is ideal for this recipe, but see how it's already starting to kind of go together. You just basically wanna blend this together. It's gonna take me a little longer to get it all incorporated, but you're just gonna basically sit here and do this, and then once it's a little bit better, I'm gonna throw in 2 tablespoons of sweetened coconut. So that just goes right in there. So even though it looks like it's got a lot of crumbs, this is all, the coconut oil is just very like slippery. But once this sets up in the fridge, these are the completed ones. It sits on the bottom of each cup like a crust because the coconut oil in the fridge hardens together and it becomes a, you know, like similar to making a cheesecake or whatever with the graham cracker crust. See? So what you would do now is you would take a mini cupcake pan, or at least that's what I did. I don't have mine with me. It looks like I left it at home. But you take a mini cupcake pan, you put little liners in it like the ones that are in there. And then you just take your fork or a tablespoon or whatever, and you just drop a little bit into each wrap, and then just kind of push it down. And then you can just set that down while you make your filling. But that's pretty much it. Like, so the crust is really easy. You can actually like totally customize this and switch it up. You can use chocolate chip cookies and make a chocolate filling, or whatever. But essentially, infused oil or butter will work, but I find the coconut oil holds the crust together better than butter does because it hardens more than butter does. And then the coconut in the crust. But generally, crushed up cookies, infused oil. And then for the filling, I got whipped cream cheese because, again, I was assuming somebody would have a KitchenAid to whip things up. But I made those with like a block of cream cheese that I whipped. But you can get whipped cream cheese. This is half of the container, half of a 8-ounce container, so it's about 4 ounces of whipped cream cheese. If you are vegan, you can get the Daiya brand vegan cream cheese, and you would want to blend that or just mix it extra long to get it creamier. But it does work with Daiya cream cheese if that's an issue. Same thing with the yogurt. So I have 2 tablespoons of pineapple Greek yogurt, but you can also just use vanilla soy yogurt or coconut yogurt. Any of the non-dairy yogurts they also work fine. So I'm gonna dump that in there. This is a really easy no-bake recipe that I've used for a lot of different things. And that's 2 tablespoons of crushed pineapple. And then this is 3 tablespoons of powdered sugar, which you can substitute for a sugar substitute if you want, but it's not gonna have the same texture. So powdered sugar is the way to go. And then you're just gonna stir that together. And because I had the whipped cream or the cream cheese out at room temperature, it's gonna whip together really, really easy. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. That few minutes you would, actually now that I have this little cup, I'll use this as an example. So you just would drop it at the bottom of the cup. Just sort of press it down. It doesn't matter if it looks like it's crumbly. It will like bind together when it sets up. And then, I don't have this. So then you would just drop some filling on top. And then you want to put this in your freezer for 30 minutes, set a timer. I mean, it's not going to, kill you if it goes longer, but 30 minutes in the freezer and then 3 hours in the fridge. And then that's what these completed ones are.
This is like the perfect size if you want to do like a little cupcake cocktail party type of thing.
Yep.
Show off for your friends a bit. It won't take you too much out of your way. You can do something like this with like a 3.5 of some really good herbs.
Easy.
And have a great time.
Easy. Yeah. So it was just 2 tablespoons, and so for the whole thing, and it will, this recipe will make 12 cheesecake bites. So, yeah, it's just a really easy one to put together. It's really good for friends. Like I said, because you can customize. You can put a little cherry on top and make it a cherry cheesecake, whatever.
Yeah, totally good. So like that's so wonderful. So these guys in the studio are going to be trying to eat up Princess's stuff really soon. So I suggest you hurry on down, come and grab your own, because there will not be any left tonight.
Nope. But I will have some next week, so you can come see me. Be here Tuesday, Friday, and I'll have some over there next week.
Awesome sauce. So now we're going to get back over here to this, this pulled pork that we have going. So at this point, our pulled pork is, wrong dish. Our pulled pork has cooked down along with our vegetables and our pineapples. Our flavors are blending really, really well. And so we have this really great pineapple habanero finishing sauce that we're going to be using. Because we've already medicated in the sauteing process and we use pretty much a nice amount, we will not be adding any additional medication. But for some of those, I will say watch your temperatures. Cannabis is not good with high heat.
Yep.
So oftentimes when I'm doing a dish like this where I'm sauteing and I may be using high heat, I will in many cases add just maybe a teaspoon or so to the dish at the end. Just
sense.
to make sure that I'm kind of balancing things out a bit.
Yeah, I often have noticed that 50 milligrams of something in a no-bake recipe versus 50 milligrams in like a brownie can be night and day in how it affects you.
So now we're going to just let that come together. We have some really delicious jasmine rice here that we prepared earlier to go with our pulled pork bowl.
Do you want an empty plate so you can show what it looks like on a plate?
Yes, please,
Okay.
ma'am. Oh, no, you're fine. I got it. Okay, so now we're going to start plating. I think this sauce is probably warmed up and ready to go now. And no, the rice is not infused, guys.
No.
You do not need to infuse every component of your meal unless you're definitely trying to knock yourself out until tomorrow.
I mean, I've definitely done a teriyaki chicken where I infused the fried rice, and I've also definitely done an infused jambalaya. But for plain rice, no, I mean, the food's already infused.
Yes.
Rice is amazing. I eat it all the time. I have a rice cooker at home, and like it's wonderful. I literally use it all. Like if you don't have any kitchen equipment, I cannot recommend a rice cooker enough. Especially if you have a very small house, like 1 or 2 people, it's great because you can put the little steamer basket on top, stick something in there and some vegetables, and literally turn the thing on, and in 15 minutes you have a whole dinner. It's wonderful. Yeah, you got to put that on there too.
So we now have our finished dish, which is our Hawaiian poke bowl with jasmine rice, peppers, pineapples, carrots, and vegan pulled pork. We also have the delicious pineapple cheesecake.
Pineapple cheesecake, yeah.
Pineapple cheesecake with the lemon cookie crust.
Coconut cookie crust.
Coconut cookie crust.
Yep.
See, stoner days, stoner days. And this delicious pineapple juice that everyone in the studio seems to be enjoying quite immensely. They're all extra quiet because they're high now. So yeah, so that's our segment for today. In terms of what we're cooking, is there anything that you want to add in?
I don't think so. I'm going to put the recipe for the cheesecake bites on Instagram tomorrow. But if you have any questions, you can reach out to either one of us on social media, and we're happy to answer your questions about what we made.
And the recipe for the Hawaiian poke bowl will be available on Bud Light Exclusives Facebook page tomorrow as well. That's all for today.
Thank you.
Send us suggestions of what you'd like to see us cook next time. Thanks a bunch, guys.